If I lost everything and had to start again at the age of 35, this is the real plan. Not guesswork, not hype, just data, discipline, and a method that outperforms 98% of the pros. Let's be honest. If you're watching this, our stats say you're probably in your 30s or 40s, and you might feel like you've missed the boat on a lot of investments. You didn't buy Tesla at $3. You didn't flip NFTs. You didn't YOLO into the meme stocks. Instead, you worked. You raised kids. You paid off debt. Maybe you made mistakes. In fact, I guarantee you made mistakes. Maybe you never even got started, which could have been the biggest mistake of all. But guess what? No one taught you this in school. This video is here to show you that you're not alone, and it's not too late. Now, here's what no one's going to tell you. Half of all Americans die with less than $10,000 in savings. But the people who start at age 35 with the right strategy can actually outperform the 25-year-olds that are chasing the hype. So today, I'm going to show you the exact investing plan I'd use if I had to start from zero at age 35. There are 3 core ETFs I would buy, a way to earn income from them apart from dividends, and a clear roadmap to retirement and real freedom. So let's get to it. So the main problem we have, guys, is most people think retirement just happens. It doesn't. Retirement equals paying yourself $60,000 per year. For how long? For 25 years. That's $1.5 million in today's dollars. Now at 3.5% inflation for the next 30 years, that $1.5 million needs to be $4.2 million. Guys, trust me when I say this. This feels insurmountable. I get that. But the great thing about compound interest and the great thing about the plan we're going to talk about now is it's a lot closer than you think. You cannot change the past. The only thing you can do is change what you're doing right now. Now, the great news about being at the age of 35 versus 25 is your income is probably a lot bigger than it was 10 years ago. And your income will probably grow substantially over the next 10 years and then grow with inflation over time. That's what the stats show us. But guys, guess what? At 35, making a decent income, I'm not telling you need to go save $100,000 a year. Quite the opposite. A lot of people sit there and look, $4.2 million, if I want to retire in 30 years, that's a total of $140,000 a year I need to save. No, compound interest is going to take away a big chunk of that. Instead of $140,000, what if I told you that with $17,500 per year, you could still end with $4.2 million bucks? Guess what? That's still too high. I bet we could do this with $10,000 per year. And guys, if you're making $70,000 to $100,000 a year, this should be easy. How do we do it? That's what we're going to break down right now. So there are 3 ways in which I make money. Invest in stocks or ETFs. I have options. I sell covered calls on those stocks and ETFs. And then I have real estate. Now, all 3 of these combined have different ways of making money. These 2 come in the same bucket. So let's do a quick breakdown. Let's say your stocks and ETFs generate you 9.5% per year. Why? Because historically we've done about 9.9 or 10% per year. Let's do a little discount, 9.5%. Actually, I'll go a little bit further. Let's call it 9%. 9% per year. Now, options. Guys, I do what's called selling covered calls. I take the stocks and ETFs I have right now. I sell someone the right to borrow those from me at some point, essentially, and they pay me a fee. Guys, I've been doing upwards of 6 or 7% per year. Let's be conservative and call it 2.5% per year. We're just going to call it 2.5%. Now, everybody, it's all based on how you perform, and we talk about this a lot in our channel. But we have some amazing people in our community that have absolutely crushed these numbers. In fact, when I tell people 6 or 7%, they're like, Paul, why are you so low? I'm not going to vouch for what anybody's numbers are, but I will say that I feel comfortable with this number. Now, with real estate, 15% per year. If you're not doing deals that can make you 15% per year, why are you even wasting time? So overall, guys, let's take this 11.5% plus 15%, and let's say you split the money in half. We're at 26.5% minus 2, 13.25%. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? I get that. That's a huge number. It's not just go do it, it's easy. This takes a lot of work. This takes a lot of discipline. This takes a lot of work and discipline. But guess what? It's possible. Now, guys, the great news is this money in tax-deferred accounts can just compound. You don't pay tax on it. Real estate, very, very good for taxes. You have depreciation, other things that make you pay very little, and you compound your money. So imagine if you're able to invest $10,000 or $12,000 a year at 13% returns per year. Now, you might sit there and say, come on, Paul, this is ridiculous. 13% a year? I know. But remember, real estate's a big chunk of that. 15%. Options is something you don't learn very much. Everybody's stuck on this number. But there's two big components here that everyone ignores. Yes, does it take more work? Of course it does. But it should. It's way more return. But if you're able to do these to make 13% returns, here's how it changes things. Let me show you. If you wanted to have $4.2 million at the 30 years from now, $4.2 million, and all you did was stocks at 9%, you need to save $31,000 per year from here on out. Guys, unless you're making a lot of money, like $200,000, that's hard. That's really difficult. Now, let's change this return to 13.25%. Let's see how much it drops that savings of $31,000 a year versus $13,700. A lot different, isn't it? Just by adding two components, you can take the amount that you save from $31,000 down to $13,000. That's a drop of over 60%. That's huge. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Paul, what if I hire a financial planner? They're going to put me on the right path. They're smart. They are not smart. They are salespeople. They're going to charge you a fee. How big of a fee? And by the way, not only do they charge you a fee, they underperform the market significantly. Guys, it is a huge disaster. You're going to take your 9% down to 7.5% return. You now need to save $41,000 per year to make up for that financial planner you're paying. We're here on this channel to fire the financial planners. So what should you do instead? Guys, I have a very core 3 ETF strategy. The portfolio is simple, it's scalable, and it works in the long run in any market. First, VOO. That is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. It gives you instant access to 500 of the largest US companies, and it's low cost, only 0.03% per year. That means for every $10,000 you invest in there, you're being charged $3 per year. And over the long run, it returns 9 to 10% annually. This should be your default. It's boring, and that's why it works. So that $31,000 here, that $41,000 you're giving to a financial advisor, whatever it is, if you're giving a financial advisor, you're basically paying them $450, $400 a year, roughly. Okay. For the 0.003, you're paying $10. Guys, over a long period of time, that compounds. It compounds greatly. Second ETF, SCHD. I own this one as well. This one focuses on high quality companies that pay strong dividends, currently around 4%. These are cash flow machines that hold up in rough markets. They're especially good inside IRAs where the tax treatment works in your favor. You're not going to be taxed as you get those dividends in. Same with the 401k. The third and final ETF, and this is one that's very controversial because it's very high flying right now, which I don't agree with. But even if you bought it at the hype, over long periods of time, it can do very well. And that's QQQ, the NASDAQ 100. This is your growth engine. It's tech heavy. But even better, guys, you don't have to sit there and guess which tech companies are going to do great. And how good is it? Guys, I always talk about this on our channel because it's super important to understand. March of 2000, we had the tech bubble start to burst. If you started at the peak, which was March 10th, and started buying the NASDAQ 100, you'd have seen it drop 80% over the next 2 years. But if you kept dollar cost averaging, you'd have made 14 to 15% return on your money up to today. Even if the NASDAQ falls in half, it's still north of 12% a year. And the reason why it's such a high return ETF is these are tech companies with high returns on capital. They can invest money and grow much faster with very high margins. Yes, it's very volatile, but you're being paid for that over a long period of time. Guys, any of these ETFs, if you're looking for short-term gains, I don't know what to tell you. It's just not going to work. You got to think of it in the long haul. The power of time, not timing. That's how you make over 14% per year. Now, the real secret sauce most people don't know or even try to figure out. You can rent these out. That's the covered call. Pay me money, and you can take my shares away from me in the future at a higher price. I'm still going to make all my money up to that higher price, but you're going to pay me along the way. Think about it like this. Essentially, you own a house and you're renting it out. And all the while, you give somebody an option to buy the house from you at a future price, but they're going to pay you along the way. And if the house skyrockets in price, you have to sell it to them. But the way we teach it is we sit there and do it on a portfolio of companies across a lot of different time frames and different prices. That way, you're rarely left losing the house or the stock. You're going to sit there and keep generating the income. Conservatively, you can add 1 to 3% per year to your money. So instead of just earning that 9 or 10%, you can now make 11.5, 12% just on your portfolio. This one technique done right can double your retirement income, and most investors never learn it. In addition to that, while you're in retirement, you can collect your dividends of 3 or 4%, plus collect another 2, 3, 4% a year on this covered call. Imagine making 5, 6, 7% a year on the money you have saved. What else would you need? So guys, that option strategy might sound overwhelming. I get it. Might sound too good to be true. I get it. Remember, there are no free lunches. But I have a wonderful PDF that will walk you through these exact options income strategy I use. This is what I wish I'd started doing 20 years ago. It's not flashy, but it is fun and it works. So if you want that free PDF, click the link below, and within 1 minute, I will email the PDF to you free of charge. Now guys, I talked earlier about firing your financial advisor and I showed a little bit of the math, but I'm gonna show you the math a little bit more directly here. Let's go pull up our retirement calculator here. Now guys, this example is the same I did before. Age 35, retiring at 65, nothing in savings right now, and we're gonna put $13,500 a year in savings, and you're gonna increase that by 4% per year. You're gonna make 9.5% returns, 7% during retirement, and you're gonna live to age 95 with 3.5% inflation. Hit the generate button. Guess what, guys? You don't have enough to retire according to this, and that's fine. The key here is to show you guys how much money you'll have. At retirement, you'll have $3.2 million. Okay. Now let's say you hire that financial advisor and they underperform the market and they charge you fees, costing you about 2% per year. So instead of 9.5, I'm gonna go to 7.5 a year. And instead of 7% retirement, it's 5%. Now remember, according to this, you need to save about $4,000 more per year. Watch how bad it gets. And we had 3.2 million in retirement. Now, you need to save an extra $18,000 per year. And instead of 3.2 in retirement, you have 2.3 million in retirement. Guys, financial advisors are just salespeople. I know you're going to disagree with me and you're going to say, oh, my uncle has been at Merrill for so long and he's brilliant. He's a salesperson. More power to him. But it's not financial advice. It's sales. So if you want to be charged a fee for underperforming, go to your uncle. They're going to do a great job of making themselves very rich. It's going to cost you millions of dollars. And on top of that, what about real estate? How are they going to help you with real estate? How about covered calls? My financial advisor did not tell me about covered calls. I went to them and said, hey, I'm trying to do this. What do you think? They put me in touch with their options desk and the guy goes, yeah, this is brilliant for you. I was like, oh, great. Now, I don't pay my financial advisor an annual fee. I pay them to hold my money because at the end of the day, I still need somebody to hold my money. Schwab, Merrill Lynch, wherever you want, as long as you're not getting paid a fee for it. Why pay Ferrari prices for a Civic? That's what you're doing when you hire a financial advisor. You're paying for the allure and all these other great things, but you're getting the crappy performance. Don't do this. We're not just talking about what to buy. It's about how you think. We want you to think a certain way. We want you to believe that you can take control of your financial future. You absolutely can. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to do well. In fact, studies have shown that the less you do in investing, the better you do in investing. Stick to a process that works. This is why we talk about our method of investing, finding good assets at good prices or dollar cost averaging, and then sitting on your hands and letting time take over. We want you to be calm when everyone else is scared. That's when true wealth is created. So, bringing it back home, you're 35, starting fresh. You invest $13,000, $14,000 a year. You follow the 3 ETF plan. You add income from covered calls. You ditch that financial advisor. But guess what, guys? Adding real estate takes you to the other level here. Now, guys, I own about 1,000 apartments. Real estate has been a big component to generating wealth for me. Why? Because you're sitting there and you can't buy and sell very quickly. You sit there, you let inflation take over. It helps you become very wealthy. And you wake up 20 years later and you're like, oh my God, my real estate's worth how much now? That's what's incredible. And with real estate, you're doing work. So you need a much higher return. It's not unthinkable. It's actually quite easy to find 15% returns per year. Now, buying every deal won't do that for you. Buying the hype won't do that for you, but that's the point. We're here to teach the opposite of hype. We want you to find good cash flowing real estate near you that you can ride the market, manage yourself, and do a great job. We teach that also on our channels. But first, I want you to get the fundamentals. Buy the low cost ETFs, then learn options, and when you're ready to take the next step and get even higher returns, buying real estate. All three of these things, if I were to start over at 35, is what I would do. Yes, it feels overwhelming, but you can do it one step at a time, because guess what? The best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So guys, you've made it this far in the video, so it shows you're serious about understanding how investing works. And I want you to watch our foundational full guide video linked on this screen to see how we invest in the stock market through a principle-driven process, no matter what the market is doing. Thank you for your time.